Hello friends, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar's Learning app. So today's topic is about green energy corridor. But before moving to the topic, we will try to understand what do you mean by green energy. So what exactly this green energy is about? The green energy is nothing but the electricity generated by using the natural resources such as sunlight, wind or water. So unlike the fossil fuels, these resources do not harm the environment. So here, by using these resources, when the electricity is generated, there is no emission of the carbon dioxide or the other harmful gases. So it is environment friendly energy. Thirdly, the energy which is solar energy, wind power, geothermal energy, biomass and hydroelectricity power, these are the certain types of the green energy. So why this green energy is important? Firstly, because of the climate change. We are seeing that the world is seeing the climate change. There is increase in the temperature, global warming is happening, and there are another cascading effects of the global warming. But this green energy is important for the environment as it replaces the negative effects of the fossil fuels with another eco-friendly or the environment-friendly alternatives, just like we have seen about the solar energy or the hydroelectricity. Okay, so this is very much important from the climate change point of view. So the second most important thing is there are limited fossil fuels in the environment. Because of the increase in the population, the demand for the fossil fuels is increasing, and because of this increasing in the fossil fuel, there is again emission of the carbon dioxide at a faster rate, and which again leads to climate change. So to reduce the dependency on the limited fossil fuels, we need this green energy. Thirdly, it is very much important for the economic growth point of view. So if we see that the per capita income of a country depends upon the per capita consumption of electricity. So if we consume more electricity, the growth of the country will goes on increasing. So what does it mean? The consumption of electricity is very much important for the development of the country. Fourthly, from the energy security point of view. So if we see that nearly 40% of the India doesn't have the electricity. This is the data which is given by the World Bank. So to provide energy security to all the sections of the society, we need this green energy. Also, there is need for the decentralization of the electricity production. So if we see this green energy, that is solar energy or the wind energy, it can be produced in a localized form. For example, few of the patches in India, they don't have the conventional grid electricity, where we can use this solar energy or the solar panels or the wind energy to produce the energy itself at the same place to provide the electricity to that particular region. So these are the importance or the significance of the green energy. So what is the context about the green energy? So recently cabinet has approved rupees 12,000 crore for second phase of the green energy corridor. This means that this is the second phase of the green corridor which was previously launched by the government. So that green corridor project, it was launched in 2015-16. Okay, so this is the second phase of that same project. So we will see about this project, what it is about, why it has been launched, and what are the provisions of this scheme. So the aim of this scheme is to synchronize the electricity produced from solar, wind and other renewable sources with the conventional grid. So what does it mean? That we have a grid which runs parallel in the different parts of the country. So the few of the states, they produce the renewable energy or the green energy. So that green energy we have to connect to this grid, to this conventional grid, so that this energy can be transported or transmitted from one part of the country to the another part. For example, if the green energy is produced in Tamil Nadu, it can be transported to the other parts of the country, just like Odisha or Jharkhand or Madhya Pradesh. So this is the aim of this corridor or the project. So how the transmission of the electricity takes place from the production center to the consumption center. We can understand this from this image. So there is a production center of the electricity. For example, it can be a nuclear power plant or the thermal power plant where the electricity is generated. So the energy generated from here, it is transferred to a transformer, and through this transformer the electricity is carried to the different parts of the nation or the country through this transmission poles or the transmission lines, and there we'll find that there are different substations. Now these substations will distribute the electricity to the distributing transformers. Now what is the work of distributing transformer? Now this distributing transformer will distribute the energy or the electricity to the consumption point. It may be the domestic consumptions like the houses, or the industrial consumers, or the commercial consumers. It may be like IT parks. Okay, so this is how the electricity is transmitted from the production center to the consumption center. So this transmission takes place through the transmission lines, and these transmission lines are very helpful for the distribution of the electricity to the different parts of the country. Now the green energy corridor, what it will do, it will connect the electricity which is produced through the green energy or the natural resources to this conventional transmission lines. So this is the importance of the green energy corridor. Now we can see here that nearly 56% of the electricity generated in the country, it comes from the coal, and remaining 40% it comes from the non-fossil fuel. So here it is where the green energy corridor is very much important for the country. Now what are the provisions of this scheme? So the scheme aims to construct 10,750 circuit kilometers of the transmission line. If we see that in the first scheme, the target was to achieve the same thing, 9,700 kilometers of the transmission line. Secondly, around 27,500 megavolt amperes of substation capacity will be installed. We have seen that these substations are important for the distribution of the electricity to the consumption point. Now thirdly, it will evacuate nearly 20 gigawatt of renewable energy projects from the states like Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. Now we compare the states which were included in the phase 1 are different from the phase 2. And also in the phase 1, the target was to evacuate 24 gigawatt of the renewable energy. Okay, so this was the difference between the first phase and the second phase as well. Now coming to the cost and finance of the project, we can see here that 12,031 crores is the estimated cost of the project. The first phase, it was estimated at about 10,000 crore. But out of this 12,000 crores, central government will provide only 33% of the cost. It means that 4,000 crore will be provided by the center as the financial assistance, and remaining 8,000 crore is to be provided by the state governments or through the loans. Now if we compare the first phase of the project, we can see there that 40% of this assistance was provided by central government, 40% was in the form of loans, and 20% was in the form of assistance given by the state government. Now what is the significance of this corridor? So recently COP26 was held at Glasgow, and India had made certain commitments with respect to clean energy in the summit. So according to India, 50% of its energy requirements will come through renewable sources by 2030. Also, it will reduce the carbon emission by 1 billion tons by 2030. Again, India aims to become a carbon neutral state or net zero emission by 2070. And it has also increased its commitment to install renewable energy capacity up to 500 gigawatt. So if you see, according to the Paris Agreement, our commitment was 175 gigawatt, but India has increased this commitment up to 500 gigawatt. So this corridor or the project will help to India achieve this 450 gigawatt target of installed renewable energy capacity by 2030. Secondly, it will help India in the energy security in the long run. So India doesn't need to depend on the import of the fossil fuel for the generation of the electricity. This will also help to generate electricity at an affordable price. So India will be able to use the electricity at a very low cost. Thirdly, it will help to promote ecological sustainable development. Now, carbon footprint can be reduced through use of this corridor. Lastly, the project will help to generate direct and indirect employment opportunities for the citizens of India. So large number of population can get here employment opportunities through this corridor. So this was all about green energy corridor. What are its provisions and how it will be significant for India. So thanks for joining us. Thank you.